The royal family didn't just distance themselves quietly, they orchestrated a pattern so deliberate, so cold, that every move feels like a message, and at the center of it all stands Meghan Markle, watching doors close one by one while the silence grows louder than any statement ever could. It begins with something that should have been simple, almost ordinary. But nothing about this situation is ordinary. When Harry revealed plans to travel back to the UK with Meghan Markle and the children, King Charles reacted not like a distant monarch, but like a father offering a room at Buckingham Palace, extending a gesture that carried history, status, and something deeper, reconciliation. But then something strange happened. Harry didn't respond. Not late. Not eventually. Not at all. He left the king waiting, and in that silence, something shifted. Because King Charles didn't chase. He didn't follow up. He pulled the offer entirely, like a door quietly shutting before anyone could step through.
Well, Prince Harry right now is in London this week for charity work, but it looks like he will not be staying at Buckingham Palace. According to multiple reports, Harry's team says it has accepted an invitation to stay there, but the palace is claiming he missed a key deadline to RSVP, throwing this entire situation up into flux.
And that's where it gets even more unsettling. Meghan Markle reportedly called it an insult. Think about that for a second. A royal residence offered by the king himself, withdrawn after being ignored, and somehow the insult wasn't the silence, but the consequence. Patterns start forming here. Patterns of expectation, patterns of reaction. And when Harry later tried to secure that same stay, the palace response was chillingly simple too late. Not emotional, not dramatic, just final.
Hold your horses. Prince Harry isn't staying. The reason being is because Harry formally declined that invitation on Saturday morning. Then later on in the day, Buckingham Palace says, he changed his mind and said, no, I am going to stay in Buckingham Palace, thank you very much. Then Buckingham Palace wrote back saying, it's too late.
Then July 10th, 2026 arrives and everything feels different. Meghan Markle steps back onto UK soil after publicly distancing herself, after words were said, after lines were drawn. The meeting at Highgrove House should have been symbolic, maybe even healing. Instead, it reportedly turned into something far more controlled, far more guarded, because before anything meaningful even began, there were checks, physical checks, the kind that don't just search for devices, they search for trust that isn't there.
King Charles apparently had a witness present when Harry and Meghan came to visit. This is interesting. This is according to page 6. So King Charles, in addition to having them go through security screenings, as we told you last week, getting frisked and getting pat down like they're going through TSA, a little bit of physical affection, King Charles had a witness at his July 10th reunion with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
And just when it seemed the meeting might soften, the final moments delivered something sharper. A warning, not casual, not implied. Direct. If Meghan Markle and Harry wanted to remain connected to the royal family, there were rules. Silence. Absolute silence. No stories, no leaks, no turning private moments into public currency. It wasn't a request, it was a condition.
King Charles has reportedly directly warned Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to stop publicly talking about the royal family.
Now step back and look at what happened next, because this is where it stops being about moments and starts becoming about erasure. Frogmore Cottage, once their home, once renovated with care, once filled with their presence, underwent another transformation. But this time, it wasn't about upgrading walls or changing decor. It was about removing traces. Photos gone, personal touches undone. It wasn't just renovation. It felt like rewriting history. And then came the silence that no one could ignore. Meghan Markle's 2026 birthday arrived and nothing happened. No posts, no acknowledgements, no carefully worded messages. And this is a family that marks occasions with precision. King Charles had done it before, Camilla had done it before, William and Catherine had done it before, but this time, nothing. And it didn't stop there. Archie, Lilibet, the king's own grandchildren, also met with silence. That kind of silence isn't accidental. It's intentional. It's a statement without words. But if you think this tension suddenly appeared, go back to 2020. The Commonwealth Service, a moment meant to symbolize unity, dignity, connection. Meghan Markle seemed ready to show that things were still normal. She approached Catherine, initiated conversation, tried to bridge something invisible, and what came back wasn't confrontation. It was colder than that. It was absence. A response so minimal it spoke volumes. Meghan Markle withdrew, visibly a moment that played out in seconds but echoed for years. Then 2022 added another layer. Invitations were extended, appearances expected. But when it came to the iconic Trooping the Color balcony, the message was unmistakable. Meghan Markle and Harry would not be there, not beside the working royals, not in that frame. It was a visual boundary drawn in public view, a reminder that presence in the family does not equal position within the institution. And if you start connecting all these moments, the withdrawn offer, the guarded meeting, the erased home, the silent birthdays, the cold public interactions, the restricted appearances, it stops looking like coincidence. It starts looking like design, like a quiet, calculated distancing that doesn't need headlines because the actions speak louder. The question isn't whether Meghan Markle noticed. The real question is, was this always the plan? Or did something happen behind closed doors that changed everything? And just when it seemed like the distance couldn't grow any wider, the next moments revealed something even more telling, not loud confrontations, not dramatic statements, but quiet exclusions that felt almost surgical in how precise they were. Discussions about the future of the monarchy unfolded at Sandringham, a place where decisions aren't just made, they are shaped into legacy. Prince William, Princess Catherine, and other senior members were present, actively participating, actively influencing what comes next. But Meghan Markle was not there, not even remotely involved. Harry attended, but Meghan Markle remained in Canada, physically and symbolically removed from conversations that define the institution's direction. And that absence didn't feel accidental. It felt deliberate, like a line drawn in a room she was never meant to enter. Then came the digital shift, subtle but impossible to ignore. After Queen Elizabeth II's reign ended and King Charles stepped forward, the royal family website changed. Profiles moved, positions adjusted, and Meghan Markle, alongside Harry, was pushed further down, closer to figures already distanced from active roles. The wording itself carried a quiet finality, suggesting that Meghan Markle and Harry had done their part and were now operating elsewhere. Not central, not essential, just separate. And when you read between those lines, it doesn't just sound like an update. It sounds like a quiet reclassification of status, a repositioning that signals how the institution now sees Meghan Markle. But the pattern doesn't stop there. It sharpens during one of the most sensitive moments imaginable. As Queen Elizabeth II's final hours approached, the royal family gathered at Balmoral. It was a moment defined by urgency, by closeness, by family unity. And yet, King Charles made it clear that Meghan Markle should not accompany Harry. The explanation was simple on the surface, only the closest family members were to be present. But Meghan Markle was family. That's what makes this moment feel heavier, more loaded, more intentional. Because exclusion during ordinary events can be dismissed, but exclusion during a moment like this, that leaves questions that don't fade. Then the world watched the funeral, a global stage, every detail scrutinized. And there they were, Harry and Meghan Markle, but not where many expected them to be. Not in the front row, not among the central figures. Positioned in the second row, visibly separated from the core of the family. Some called it protocol. Others saw something else. And it wasn't just the seating. Observers noted the lack of interaction, the absence of eye contact, the visible distance that no camera angle could hide. Even private gatherings during that time reportedly did not include Meghan Markle, adding another layer to the pattern that had been quietly building. And then comes something even more personal, something that doesn't happen by accident: family events, weddings, celebrations, moments where inclusion is almost automatic. Yet over time, invitations to these private occasions seemed to fade. When Peter Phillips married, Meghan Markle and Harry were not there, not invited. And that absence didn't just raise eyebrows, it reinforced a narrative that had been forming piece by piece. A narrative where Meghan Markle was no longer seen as part of the inner circle, no longer woven into the private fabric of the family. And when you step back and look at everything together, the Sandringham discussions, the website shift, the Balmoral decision, the funeral seating, the missing invitations, it stops being about isolated incidents. It becomes something else entirely. A sequence, a pattern, a message that never needed to be spoken because it was shown again and again in actions that felt too consistent to ignore. The kind of message that doesn't explode loudly, but settles slowly, leaving people to connect the dots themselves. Because the real mystery isn't just what happened to Meghan Markle. It's why it unfolded this way, step by step, moment by moment, with a precision that feels almost planned. Was it reaction? Was it strategy? Or was it something deeper that the public has only seen fragments of? of. And if this pattern continues, the question that lingers isn't whether Meghan Markle will ever be fully accepted again, but whether that door has already been closed for good, quietly, permanently, and without ever needing to be announced.